How is it going, guys? Drew Peacock here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving you my list of 5 budget cars that you can build to beat a Hellcat. A lot of people think the Hellcat is the king of the streets, but these 5 cars will put that kitty in his place, and on one hell of a budget. Nothing's more enjoyable than slaughtering a guy who thinks he's going to win because he paid for his horsepower when you can build horsepower. It's the greatest thing in the world. Like I said, this list will consist of cars that I think are great options if you're looking to build something. However, I am not going to be taking into account reliability. We're just simply trying to beat a Hellcat once, twice, and that's it. Although most of these cars are pretty reliable for the most part. Anyways, if I missed out on any cars, let me know down below. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this video. Also, big shout out to No Lift Shift for helping me create this list. Thank you, my man. If you guys want to go check out his content, channel down below. Let's go ahead and dive right in. First car on the list, and this one is definitely probably one of the uglier ones. We're looking at the Lexus Sc300. Now, these you can find for as low as $3,500. Hell, some people will just give you them for free because nobody really wants these cars, but they are solid platforms. They share the same chassis as the Mark IV Supra. Too bad that's about it. Everything else is pretty much different, at least exterior wise. I mean, like there are some things that are similar, but you guys know what I'm saying. This thing is sadly ugly as hell. Like, how is this even close to the same car? One would not think that they're even related. But yeah, you can find them for pretty darn cheap. If you get the 2JZ GE non-VVTi, that motor is pretty capable of handling power. Transmission options will vary, but you can simply do a 1.5 JZ build by swapping the head to a 2JZ GTE head. That will increase flow, not too expensive either. Toss on a single turbo, maybe an E-Mix or full E85, and you're already going to be making north of 500 to 600 horsepower. And that right there will absolutely clap the cheeks of the Hellcat owner. To beat a Hellcat, you don't need to make 700 horsepower. Hell, Hellcats don't make 700 horsepower to the wheels. So you only need to make about 500 to 600 horsepower, depending on your car's weight, to actually keep up and beat a Hellcat. And the Sc300 is a great option for that. Sadly, once again, you're sacrificing looks with this one. This thing you definitely want to look at blindfolded. You know, never take pictures of your exterior. Just post racing when you have one of these. No one really wants to see this thing. It's pretty darn ugly. But it's a solid platform, as other YouTubers have proven over the years, such as Mike, who has his that is, I don't know, like close to 1,000, if not over by now. Makes a lot of power. Definitely claps every Hellcat he comes across. But it's a great option if you're looking to build a Toyota platform and not break your wallet in the process. If a Hellcat owner sees an Sc300 pull up on him, they think grandma accidentally dumped the clutch and missed a shift or something. Maybe she's hanging in second gear for too long. He has no idea what's going on. He doesn't know that he's about to feel the power of the Hiroshima spoolie snail about to just demolish his American muscle piece of shit. He thinks old Betty is just late to bingo. He has no idea what's about to happen. Once the brake boosting commences though, homeboy's smile gets wiped off his face. And that's a little Japanese payback in my book. Don't even get me started about the anti-lag if you have that set up. That's an attack on the homeland. That's a Japanese dub. Getting beat by a car that looks like the alien from Lilo and Stitch has to sting a bit to the guy in the mighty Hellcat. Mark IV Super prices are ridiculous, or else that car would be on this list as well. But this is the next best thing. Now, moving on, I know you guys might say, well, you could just throw the Mark III Super up on this list too, because that's pretty good as well. I didn't want to include 2 of the same family, so we're not doing that. Sorry. Next car, we're going to some American muscle. Gonna clap the Hellcat with his best bud right here. We got the Chevrolet Corvette, the C5 generation. A little bit more expensive, a lot better looking of a car, but you can still find these for sub 10 grand in some areas, obviously depending on miles. Just do not get a drop top. Don't be that guy. Some benefits of this one: it comes with pop-up headlights and it can do more than just go straight. The C5 is a proven track car, and hell, with these mods it'll even be more capable. For this one, you can either go straight forward and just get straight to the point and toss a supercharger on it, making your build less than 20 grand if you get it at the right price, or you can just do some simple full bolt-ons, heads, cams with some E85, and that's all you need. You don't even need a boosties to beat a Hellcat. When a Hellcat owner sees a C5 Corvette pull up on him, they just think it's some old geezer trying to relive his glory days. Some geezer that thinks a C5 Corvette is the greatest and fastest car of all time. Lo and behold, the Hellcat is the one that ultimately pays the price. The Corvette owner just hears the whiny ass Hellcat supercharger fade into the distance as the bus lengths increase. And after that, the Hellcat takes the next exit because he's a little bitch and wants to get off the freeway and not see the guy that just slaughtered him, especially without a supercharger. Embarrassing. This is the only car on the list that can beat a Hellcat without forced induction. Bonus points if you dress up in jean shorts and New Balances and tuck in your shirt as well. Getting slaughtered by a Corvette is one thing. Getting slaughtered by a Corvette and the driver has no taste, that's another. That's like rubbing salt on the wound. These things are ridiculously light, super aerodynamic. I mean, it might look like an old man's car, but definitely will have Hellcat owners selling their cars and going Chevy when you slaughter them without a supercharger. You already know after you put a bus length on them, they're going to pull up to you and be like, damn, what kind of supercharger? What turbo setup you got? Nah, bro, I'm just full bolts on NA. They ain't even going to believe you. They're going to be in awe as the Grandpa Mobile is gapping them. This is probably one of the more reliable cars on the list. LSs are pretty robust. The C5 Corvette platform, also pretty robust. Very solid candidate, but you are going to have to spend a little bit more money. But if you want to spend probably the absolute least amount of money possible, well, let's move on to the next car. That is the Acura Integra. Good old Acura Integra. These pieces of shit, you can find them for as low as $2,000. Hell, you can probably find them for free as well. Just like the Sc300, there's 1,000 of these that nobody wants. For a car with an average price of $3,000, you would not expect one of these to be able to beat a Hellcat, but I am going to tell you what you need to do in order to do that. Besides drivetrain work, all you need to do is get a junkyard B20 motor, build the bottom end, toss on a VTEC head, do some springs and retainers in that bad boy, maybe a little cam if you want, throw on a spoolie snail, make 500 horsepower, and you will be destroying Hellcats, all for way less than $20,000. I think this is a sub $15,000 build, and you will be murdering them. They are not going to know what hit them. Hell, one of these blew the doors off of my Supra and he was making 100 less horsepower than me. Power to weight ratio is how you win races. A 500 horsepower Integra absolutely embarrass the Hellcat owner for the rest of his life. You pull up on a Hellcat in an Integra asking him to race, he is going to laugh at you, but you are going to wipe the smile off of his face and you're going to wipe his face with your ass cheeks as you pull away in this mad machine. Built B series are ridiculous. I've seen one in a Del Sol making 750 all-wheel horsepower. I can only imagine driving that. This bad boy, 450, 500, 550, you should easily be able to destroy a Hellcat as long as your tuner isn't fucking you over. Just be careful because torque steer is no joke, and this tin can of a car isn't going to do much to save your ass if you wrap it around a tree. But definitely probably the most budget friendly build on this list. Go get them. That leads us to our next car. These, I mean, everybody knows these pretty much clap Hellcats on a daily basis with very minimal modding. We're talking about the BMW 335i N54, the German 2JZ. Although I kind of find that as a bit of an insult, being that the motor's pretty good, the rest of the car is just dog shit though. If yours ever runs and you do some minor mods to them, it will be pretty easy to destroy a Hellcat. And it also is one of the more stylish looking cars on this list. Hell, you can even find them in all-wheel drive, so you can destroy them from a dig. But all you really need to do to this bad boy is just toss a single spoolie snail at it and call it a day. You don't really got to do much else after that. I mean, you could throw an E-mixture or some full E85 at the bad boy, you know, spend a little bit more money and you'll make more power, obviously, but it doesn't even really need that. You probably can even beat it with stock turbos and a downpipe intakes, and that's it. Obviously a tune to tie it all together, but I feel like that's a given. Nobody here is thinking that you can do that without tuning it. At least I hope not. These cars you can find from $5,000 to $8,000, $10,000. They range from different colors to different specs, transmission options, etc. And either way, miles or not, you're not getting a reliable car, so honestly, it probably doesn't matter. So just go pick one up, do some modifications, do some maintenance. Hell, you're going to be doing more maintenance than modifying anyways, but yeah, you can definitely go beat a Hellcat one of these easily. Surprisingly, if you find one of these at the right price, it's not going to take much money. So I think this is probably one of the cheaper options on this list as well. In a perfect world, that is. Granted, you go buy one and it doesn't break the next day, or need an extra $4,000 just to get it to run consistently. But hey, that's the point of having a BMW. You get more hands-on experience than anyone. And I own a Ford. This is one car I wouldn't mind owning, but I definitely don't want to own it, if that makes any sense. I already have enough shit boxes breaking down on a daily basis. I don't need to add one that I already know is going to break down. At least if I buy an RX-7, I'm expecting that to break down, and it has cool rotary noises to make up for it. This, I already have a Supra. I'm chilling. But let's move on to the last car on this list. We're talking about the RSX, preferably Type S model. Comes with a beefier trans and it is a 6-speed. Now, good old K20 Rsx. Hell, I'm building a K20 Honda Civic right now. If you haven't seen that video, go check it out. But the RSX already comes with one inside. And if you find a Type S, average price around $9,000, you're already halfway there. You don't need to worry about swapping it. That's why I didn't really put a swap on this list, because you don't have to worry about that with any of these cars. They came ready. Step 1, pick up RSX Type S. Step 2, go ahead and put a turbo on the RSX Type S or supercharger. Step 3, toss some E85 at the bad boy. Step 4, go win. The K20 motor is pretty robust as well. It can handle 500 horsepower pretty safely. And after all, it is a Honda, so it ain't gonna leave you stranded like the BMW. So that's a plus. The cars are small, nimble, and light. You make 500 horsepower on a car with those requirements, and you are most definitely yapping Hellcats on a daily basis. The moment they hear you spooling up that snail, they are already crapping their pants. They're going to need a full detail in the driver's seat, no doubt. They are telling their chick in the passenger seat, please don't record this because I am going to be embarrassed right now, because that good old Dodge Mopar slow car Hellcat is about to get slaughtered by $10,000 of Japanese muscle. Maybe not $10,000. That's a pretty low estimate right there. Probably looking at around 15 grand for one of these, all said and done, not including building a trans or clutch or anything like that. But just to make the horsepower, you can do it for relatively cheap. And I'm a fan of sleepers. It's really fun seeing the underdogs win races. I don't know, some about that, some about just wiping a smile off of some dude's face that's paying $1,500 a month with a 20% APR on his shitty Dodge Hellcat with his 320 credit score. Something about that just brings me some joy. And then doing it in a 90s or early 2000s shitbox, it's even all the more funny. Bonus points if you have half the cylinders as he does. That's even funnier. But yeah, this is my list of 5 cars that you can build on a budget that will slaughter a Hellcat. If you guys liked my list, let me know down below. Hell, if you have any stories, go ahead, drop them in the comments. If I missed any cars or you want to see a part 2, let me know as well. Anyways, that's all I got for you for today. Shout out to Brian for helping me make this video. Subscribe, and until next video, peace.